In 2012, I was traveling to Europe to visit a friend in Barcelona, Spain. On my way there, I had a layover in Heathrow Airport, and as my flight touched onto the tarmac, the pilot of the flight I was on got on the intercom and informed all the passengers on board that there was a blizzard coming into the mainland of England and that all flights coming in and out of Heathrow Airport were canceled. And so for 48 hours, me and 10,000 other people were stranded in the airport with nowhere to go, having difficulty rebooking our flights, as it was around the time that England was rebuilding their airport for the Summer Olympics. And so at about hour 36, I'm sitting in a large atrium room in the airport without the ability to rebook my flight, and I don't know what to do. And this elderly gentleman from India sits down next to me, and he says, "You can't rebook your flight." I said, "No, I can't rebook my flight. I don't know what to do. I'm a student, and I'm traveling to visit friends. I'm not sure what to do." He said, "Put your cell phone in your bag." I said, "Okay." I put my cell phone in my bag. He said, "Let me show you how this is done." He got up, walked in the center of the room, and he began screaming at the top of his lungs, "I am old, I am infirm, I do not know what the internet is, I do not have a cell phone, someone help me." And I thought, this guy is absolutely crazy. I have no idea who he is. I should go. But I didn't. And about 5 minutes later, all the security people from Heathrow Airport and all of the concierge services, they show up and they begin helping this man rebook his flight. And he points at me and he says, "He is a student, you have to help him too." And so I put on some fake tears. I'm like, "Oh, I'm a student, I've never been to Europe before, help me." So about 30 minutes later, me and this gentleman got all of our business squared away and we're sitting having conversation. And I said, "Thank you so much for helping me. I really appreciate your help trying to rebook my flight and stuff like that. Where are you from? Where are you going?" He said, "No, I'm from Phoenix, and as Americans, we have to stick together." I said, "You're from America." I didn't make that assumption. I assumed you were, going to India or from India. And he said, "No, I'm an American, and when we're far away, we have to stick together." And ever since that moment in Heathrow Airport, I took that idea and here to this talk now, this idea that there are moments where social norms and social ideas trump other social norms and social ideas. This notion that in a foreign country, in another culture, that as Americans, me and this gentleman needed to stick together, that it trumped any sort of ideas of race, ethnicity, cultures, that was what was supreme and important. There are moments in human history where our humanness has been the thing that we have aligned with. In times of crisis, it trumps everything else. And it's all social constructionism. Social construction, and we believe in it on a daily basis. You and I are held to it. We believe in it with unshakable faith. And I would put forth to you that it is because of social constructionism on an individual level that we have the opportunity to make a macro difference in the world. Now, if you don't believe social constructionism applies to everyone, I'll prove it to you. Here's a map of the Earth. About 8 billion people live on it, and we have grown up believing this is the way the world looks like. However, this is also a map of the Earth. And a lot of people would say that this is wrong, that Russia's way too big and America's way too small. However, this is the exact same world we live on. It's just not the social constructed way we believe it looks. Now, this is also an image of social construction. We pass this on to our children, and so they believe this is the way the world is. And this is the perception they see the world. This is also an image of social construction. Someone rebelling against social constructs. This is also an image of social constructs. That's the wrong one.
I don't have it.
The
I don't have the media image, the cartoon that you've got. I don't have it.
or the women. Do you want me to continue?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Go ahead and put the image of the Palestinian-Israeli, please. If you can. Go from there. This is also an image of social constructs. One both beautiful and at the same time, with unshakable faith, we believe it's impossible. And my question is, why is that? Why do we believe there are times when then this notion is impossible? And I would say it has to do with our unshakable faith that social constructs exist. We need consistency as human beings. And so we grasp onto them with both hands and say, this is the way the world is. Instability is a notion that is foreign to us. We desire to not have it. But if we wanted to, we could create a world for ourselves with unshakable faith. That idea, the notion of world peace that everyone says is impossible, is indeed achievable. I would say to you that it is. And it begins with you and me, in the way we think, in the way we speak, in the way we act. And it's not easy. I have a friend who is a businessman, and he says to me and other friends all the time that in his work he needs to have an elevated level of consciousness, that he can't watch the news. CNN, constantly negative news, he says. It brings down my energy levels, and I just can't watch it, and I can't relate to other people, and it doesn't fit in my world, and I can't do my business that way. So me and another friend, we're sitting with him, and he brings that up, and my one friend says to him, I believe that's a cop-out. And I sat there listening as my other friend, who's the businessman, says this. He was very offended by that comment. My other friend says to him, listen, I believe it's a cop-out because it's not so much that you're ignoring the news or that energy of it, but to ignore it is just as bad as the people who perpetrated it. It's not so much, how you react to it, but what action you're going to choose because of it. And that really rang with me. And for the last couple of years, I have really tried to work on being conscious of what I see in the media and the news and saying, I'm going to make a choice about my social reality and make an external change about what I see. What I think, I will dream it out into the world. That moment where you say, you know what, people aren't involved in politics. People need to be more involved in politics and civics. So you go and you sit in a public town hall and you make that part of your social reality. Where you say people are not kind and they're not connecting with other people. And so you think that and then you say, I will act upon it. And you put your cell phone away and you sit down at a coffee shop or a tea lounge or a cafe and you say, I will have a conversation with a complete stranger. That moment where you say, Muslims are scary and they're taking over the world and they frighten me. And so you go out and you make a Muslim friend and you understand who they are and their religion, and then there is no fear. We all have a friend who we admire and we say, I want to be like that person at some point in my life. We all have that one person. And I would submit to you that it's through social constructs that as we as individuals can be that individual where it filters out into the world. And with unshakable faith, we can create that social reality for ourselves. And I would say that when we can do that external, that we can make a positive effect, a positive change in the social construction of the world. Thank you. Sorry, I wanted to walk off. I didn't know. I forgot I needed to stay.